I'm John. Look, and if you watched the last video, then you know that we are talking about motivation. Now, very often when we talk about motivation, we talk about motivation for the drinker, and that sort of seems, people understand that. But in this one, we're going to talk about motivation for the partner to change. And that's not quite as, shall we say, intuitive, you know? Yeah. In fact, most people would say, why do I need to change? They're the one with the problem. What do you say to
that? Well, I would say to that. Can I just want to say, as when you're doing two videos, one of the things that can help change, motivate and change, is obviously for you to get into the website and for your drinker to get into the website as well. Remember, we have a free resource for them as well.
Yep.
So that motivation for change, I think, if you're listening to videos all the time, if you're getting into the program all the time, you're hearing us saying, go for it, you know, here's some help about that, you know. So that I think is very motivational in itself. So what you soak yourself with will help the process of change. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
In answer to your question, yes, I think that I had a huge motivation to change my drinker. And yes. I was extremely motivated, and most of you that come to the website that are families are here to motivate change for your drinker, that you know, and that's really understandable. And then, because actually the place you have the power is change yourself and look at what's going on in you, then you have to go through the why should I, he's the one causing all the crap, you know, and so there's a kind of an indignation that comes up, and further anger that not only do you have to put up with all the crap of the drinking, but you're the one that has to do yet more work. And that's really understandable. And if you're processing that, I don't think you can feel anything else but that. But if you go beyond that feeling into that you are the one that's not got drink in you all the time, so you have a brain and you're compos mentis, and therefore you can listen to stuff and apply stuff, and you are the one that changes the dance. That's the truth, isn't it, in terms of the, you know, you are the one that can change the steps.
The drinker is leading the dance.
Yeah.
Because, why do we say that? Because, you know, you're waiting for the drinker to come in. Have they been drinking? How much have they been drinking? What state were they going to be in, etc.? What's going to happen next? So, in that respect, they're leading the dance. And what we are saying to you is that you need to start lead the dance, because for your own life, your own life. You know?
And I deeply believe that emotional responses, that we don't do them by ourselves. So, for example, if you get angry, that begins to encircle my life, and then if I'm not careful, I get angry back, or vice versa, because obviously I get angry sometimes. If I'm joyful, then you participate of that joy, and love, you know. So if you begin to be respectful, to be honouring of yourself, and anyone in your environment. I remember a crucial key for me in terms of motivation to change is my husband had drunk yet again. I think he'd been sober for a while, so the disappointment was very high. And I kind of was all foaming at the mouth. I think the phrase is incandescent with rage. I dropped all my justifiable anger all over him and stormed around the house. Kids, you know, were there and everything. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, I just don't want to be this person anymore. So at that point, he was not changing. So I made a huge, very personal and deep decision to be the person that I wanted to be, to behave in the sort of way that I wanted to look in the mirror and be respectful about. And so instead of being a reactor, I became a proactor. And so I came up with this phrase, relentless kindness and respect. And so I tried to model what I wanted to be, and it shifted the atmosphere. And I think at that point, I genuinely think your partner begins to, if you're doing positive things, begins to be encircled by the positive steps that are going on. And there's a shame that comes out of being loved that can be very profound and very deep. You know, so motivation to change, if you're a drinker, is that if you can understand powerful steps and taking your own life back, taking your family life back, you will be more and more motivated to change, and you will bring this power of motivation into your situation. And I can't overestimate this, is that you are the hope and the life bringer. And the more we do it, I believe the more it flows out of us. And we are with you every step of the way. Come into the community, tell us about your journey. We want you to know that every step of change, and it's often 2 steps forward and 1 back, isn't it? In all of the drinking thing, we're behind you every inch of the way. So we're in this together. We're, a community promoting change.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it time and time again, Bottled Up is about pragmatism.
Yeah.
It's not about moral. It's not about who's right, who's wrong. It's about pragmatic choices. And if you can do something about it, why would you not? But it has to take a particular mindset to do that.
Yes.
And if the mindset is it's his problem or her problem and that's the end of it, then no, why should you change? Why should you change? But if you realise that it's our problem, and as Lou said, that we're not an island. We affect each other.
Yes.
And if I could change something that might in the end change him or her, then why wouldn't you?
And even change the way you use your anger.
Yeah.
Because to use it as a fuel to the fact that I'm not going to step into toxicity. I'm not going to step into all of this rage. I'm going to do something different. Use that anger to be determined to lead your life the way you want to lead your life. And invite other people into that positive space. Yeah.
And one last thing I would say is that, as a drinker, I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and I say I used to have these blackouts, but my wife, with perfect 20/20 hindsight, and she used to sit there and she would tell me, and the first thing I would do is I'd get up and go out because I couldn't cope with it. I just could not cope with it. But for me, being sober seemed to be in this terrible sort of third stage of hell, because all the shame and the guilt. And it was pretty awful. But I remember when I was, I've told the story about being in the work and being in the DTs. My boss, he turned around and when I said to him, I'm just a hopeless case, and he said, yes, but you're not a lost cause. That was a profound thing that he said. The very fact that I can remember this in the state I was in back then, I can remember it all these years later. I hung on to it. There was something worth saving.
Yeah.
And that's when we were talking about in the previous video, this kind of mix of sort of almost shame and encouragement that goes on.
Yeah. And, it gives you a bit of reality. Anyway, we're trying to keep you short so we was finished.
Yep.
But we hope you find that helpful. We're just about to start a new series, so just check that out.
Yeah.
But keep the questions coming because we're really interested in
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
What you need to know, and we'll do our best to answer them. No easy answers, but we'll do our best to respond.
Nay, I wish there was.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
See you again soon.
Bye.